Good evening, students. Welcome once again in English class. Your teacher today for English is Mrs. Dim, and I'm going to handle you on the topic expository essay. By the end of the lesson, the student should be able to 1. Explain what expository essay is. 2. State the features of expository essay. 3. Use a well-stated hint or guideline to write a good expository essay. Now, the first question is, what is expository essay? Expository essay is any writing that explains and gives information about a subject in detail. Examples of topics in an expository essay are my favorite pet, how to prepare my favorite dish, my favorite hobby, the food I like best, the subject I like best, marriage customs in my town, the game I like best, and so on. These are some of the questions you should expect in expository essay. Now let's move to the features of expository essay. The first feature is the title. And this title should be well written and underlined. The second feature is introduction. Here you are required to give a brief introduction of the topic to be discussed. And the next is the body of the essay. This is the feature where all the details about the subject of discussion are given. The following points should be taken note of in writing the body of the essay. A. You should have adequate knowledge of the subject matter. What do I mean here? Before you choose to write a particular thing, before you choose to discuss or explain a particular subject, you should make sure that you have adequate knowledge of such subject matter so that by the time you start to write, you'll be able to know what to write. The next point is to organize your work carefully in paragraphs using step-by-step method of presentation. Remember in the previous topic that I taught, that is argumentative essay, I emphasized so much about this paragraphing. In every essay that you write in English language, you must have to organize your points in paragraphs. In that way, your reader or the examiner will be able to understand what you are talking about. This is equally applicable in this type of essay. Organize your work carefully in paragraphs using step-by-step method of presentation. What do I mean by step-by-step method of presentation? In everything that you are talking about, or every subject matter that you might be explaining to the audience or to the examiner, you must know that one thing takes place before the other. So you write things sequentially or chronologically the way those things happen. If you are explaining a particular thing to the people to listen to, or you are writing it as an essay, you must start with the first thing that takes place first, followed by the second thing that takes place. That is what I mean by step-by-step method of presentation. You don't have to start from the last segment or the subject matter only to come later on to start from the first, or you start at the middle only to come at the last, just to you jungle the whole thing. it will make your writing to be very incomprehensible, because the person you're writing to might not even understand what you're talking about. The whole thing will make the reader to be very confused. So follow your writing step by step. The next point is this. It is also important to mention a point where necessary. That is, when you are presenting your point step by step, mention a point at a particular place where it is necessary. If you forgot to mention it at the right moment and then do so later, your essay will lack orderliness, and that will create a missing link. Very important. The next point is that each topic sentence should be explained in details, using adequate details. Explain your points in detail. Once you have introduced a point as a topic sentence, you should try to explain what you have already introduced very well, so that the examiner or the reader will be able to understand fully what you meant there. The next point is this. In writing a expository essay, present tense is most often used to write an expository essay. Do not use past tense. Present tense is most often used to write an expository essay. And the next point, define and describe some difficult terms to make your explanation clearer. If there's any particular term that you mention while you are writing your essay, it is required of you to explain it. You can describe it, you can define it, in any way at all that you can make that point to be clearer to your reader or to the examiner. Try to do so. That is why we say that expository essay means detailed explanation, so that your points will be clear. Then the next feature of this essay is the conclusion. Under the conclusion, you give the summary of your opinion about the subject matter. Whatever you have already discussed in the whole lot of the body of the essay, at the end of it, that is under a conclusion, give the summary of your opinion about that subject matter. What you feel about it, what you think about it, what is your own opinion about what you have already discussed. That is the conclusion. So in fact, that expository essay is a very simple topic. Very simple topic. Should that happen to be the question they're going to ask you in your essay, you should know that it doesn't take you much to write this essay. Rather, you should just have a very detailed knowledge about what you're going to write about. Once you know that, you go ahead and write it. Now let's consider a sample question on this expository essay with the title, "The Food I Like Best." The question reads, write an essay on the topic, "The Food I Like Best." Now look at the hints. First of all, you start with the title, and secondly, introduction. In the introduction, mention the name of the food. And here also, give us just a brief history about the food, all you know about this food, as part of your introduction. Then number 3, state the reasons why you prefer the food. And finally, the conclusion. Look at how it is written. The food I like best, that is the title. Always make sure that you give it a title. Don't just start writing the essay without the title. If you write the essay without a title, it becomes a dumb essay because nobody knows what you're talking about. So the title should be written first in order to give your reader or the examiner the idea of what you are going to talk about. Now it reads, there are different kinds of food such as yam, rice, garri, bread, noodles, and so on. The food I like best of all the food is rice and beans. Rice is a carbohydrate-giving food while beans gives protein. See why I like the food more than any other. This is your introduction. You have already introduced the subject matter of what you're going to talk about in the body of the essay. I believe you have really understood why you should start with introduction. Now, the writer here has told us the type of food or the best food that he likes out of all the other food that he mentioned. Now, rice and beans is his favorite. He went ahead to tell us that rice is a carbohydrate-giving food, while beans gives us protein. That's a little or brief background of rice and beans. And then it goes on in the next paragraph. The food does not take much to prepare. Every family can afford to prepare rice and beans as it doesn't take much ingredients. The natural taste of the beans makes the food delicious with a little quantity of ingredients. That is one reason given by the writer why he likes rice and beans as his favorite. That's the first point he discussed in the first paragraph. Now the second point, or the second reason why the writer likes rice and beans is in the second paragraph. Rice and beans combination offers a basic balanced diet. Rice gives carbohydrates for energy. Beans gives protein for growth and tissue replacement. And then ingredients like salt, oil, vegetables give the remaining nutrients needed by the body. The third point again, that is the third reason why the writer likes beans, is also discussed in another paragraph. Unlike other kinds of food, rice and beans is suitable for every member of the family, both the old and young. And then in conclusion, he said, if you want to be strong and healthy, I advise you make rice and beans your favorite meal because the aroma of the food makes it irresistible. That's his conclusion. That is his opinion, the summary of what he feels or what he thinks about rice and beans. So that is how this essay is written. As simple as that. Now I have an assignment for you. An assignment reads, your answer to each question should be about 200 words long. You are free to use the hints below each question and or any other one you like. Assignment number 1, write an essay on the topic, my favorite subject. The hints or guidelines, the first one, title, second one, introduction, third one, body, and here you are required to give the reasons why you prefer the subject, and finally the conclusion. The second question reads, write an essay on the topic, why female students perform better than the male students. The guidelines include: first, title; second, introduction; female students performing better than the males; the third guideline, body of the essay, reasons why female students perform better than male students; and finally, the conclusion. And down here you have a reading assignment also. In your textbook, page 161, you are advised to read a well-written sample of an expository essay compared with a badly written one. After reading that, you are expected to point out in the bad written one the errors by the writer. That will really help you to write your own essay very, very well. With this, we come to the end of the lesson. I hope you have really understood the topic. And should any question come out from expository essay in your essay, you'll be able to write wonderfully well. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Be useful to yourself and to your parents. Always read your books. And pray hopefully that very soon you will write your exams. And then look forward to going to the next level. Thank you very much and stay safe.